Okay. So let's get into it. This is the Fruit Basket, my little podcast here where we just talk about shit. And we have some stuff I want to talk about today. We got some things, AEW on Max. Probably just want to mention that a little bit. The new Robin movie that's supposed to come out, which sounds pretty cool. Just some wrestling news. What else? Transformers 1, maybe. Anything I don't cover, I'll probably cover next week. And just some shit that I've been watching and reading. Um, in terms of that, I've been watching the Mr. McMahon doc. I started it pretty recently. I also am now caught up on the Penguin. Only 2 episodes have been out. It's really fucking good. In terms of what else? Oh, I saw the first episode of Uzumaki, which is that horror I can't pronounce words. Horror manga by Junji Ito, I believe. And it's pretty fucking good too. I love that they kept it in black and white. I don't know, I just really fucking love it. But yeah, Penguin's been insanely good. I believe at the time of this recording, the next episode is going to come out tomorrow. Because they changed the schedule. It came out on a Thursday, and then they were like, "Oh, we're moving it to Sundays." It's kind of weird, but whatever. What else? Oh, I've also been reading some Tom King books recently. I don't know, I guess I'm on a Tom King kick. I've been reading Gotham City Year One and Rorschach, and both of those are pretty fucking good. Very like noir-ish stories. But yeah, I've been enjoying it, seeing how that goes. I'm probably gonna read the first volume of that new Ultimate Spider-Man run afterwards. But yeah, that's really all I've been watching, all I've been reading so far. So let's kind of get into some of the stuff that's been going on in terms of just pop culture in general, but mostly wrestling. But we're going to start off with this announcement from James Gunn when it comes to the new Robin movie. Over the moon, excited to announce the newest DC Studios, Warner Brothers Pictures Animation greenlit film. Just a lot of words there. Greenlit film for theaters, dynamic duo, the story of Robin, or should I say Robins, as in Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, the first feature film from the visionary Sway Box, a mix of animation, puppetry, and CGI. A script from the wonderfully talented Matt Aldrich, and produced with our partners at Matt Reeves 6 in Idaho. This is something special. So yeah, it's going to be an animated movie with puppetry and CGI. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. I'm pretty hyped for it. But yeah, we'll just have to see. This is all we have so far, just this image of just DC Studios, animation, dynamic duo. Nothing concrete yet, but it feels like it's just like they like finally greenlit it and he was just like, all right, we're going for it. So there's not a lot of like official material yet to show. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Especially if we don't get any Robins with the Batman universe. At least we're getting some project with them alone. Even though Damian will be showing up, I saw some people kind of jokingly being like, "Oh, we have a project with Dick and with Dick and Jason. We got a project with Damian. Where's Tim?" And it's just like that little clip from Teen Titans Go where Robin's just like,
nobody cares about Tim Drake.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. I'm interested to see what the like style will be with like animation, puppetry, and CGI. It's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be pretty fun. We might as well talk about wrestling news. I mean, that's all I really had to talk about with this. We got some pretty big. It was a pretty big week, I would argue. Let's start with AEW. They had a deal with WB. I believe it was like 18 mil. I'm not sure what it was. But the only thing I really care about when it comes to the deal, because I don't really care all that much about the business side of it. Oh, that sucks. When it comes to the business side of it, I don't really care that much. But apparently they will be hosting AEW pay-per-views on Max. But unlike the way that WWE does it, where all you really have to do is just pay the rate of Peacock service, and then you can just watch the pay-per-views. You still have to pay for Max, but then you have to pay for the pay-per-views at a discounted rate. And apparently, they don't have a VOD that you can just later go and watch. Like, it's not, you watch the pay-per-view, like you would watch the pay-per-view, then I guess it just goes away, which sucks. Like, that's just, why would you come up with a deal like that unless you solely just want it for the money? I don't know. It's very weird. I really don't like that. Like, from a business standpoint, it sounds great for them because it's a lot of money their way. But as a fan point, from like a fan point of view, it feels very. It doesn't feel like it's enough. It really doesn't. It feels like you're getting let down. Also, apparently, it's a 15% discount. So like you're only getting 50% off of the regular price, which I believe is like somewhere above $50. So it's like you're not exactly like, it just sucks. I don't think this was a great move. I think the only thing that really benefits from this is that Dynamite gets to, I believe it's live on Max, so you don't need cable to watch it. I think that's a pretty good deal, but at the same time, like when it comes to the big pay-per-views, the things that you are trying to sell, the fact that it's just, God, that just rubs me the wrong way. That is only at a discounted rate. Like, just make it free. More people would probably sign up for it, honestly. I don't know. We're just gonna move away from this. It's just a little thing that annoys me. But when it comes to WWE, there's some pretty good things when it came to Raw and SmackDown. We have a new look at the IC title. Looks great. I like that they added the blue into there. Allows it to have a little bit more color. I also love, this has nothing to do with this championship. There was a triple threat tag team ladder match last night when it came to SmackDown between GOD, DIY, and the Street Profits. Really good match, really fun. Everyone has been memeing the finish to that match with Tonga Loa just standing on the top of the ladder where he clipped the entire like thing that the belts were hanging off of. It was just, I just like, I don't know. Tonga Loa is like, I don't know if they're doing it intentionally at this point, but he's like the funniest wrestler on the roster right now. We also had the return of the GOAT. This was also amazing. There was a last man standing match on Raw between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. I love this entire feud they've been doing between these two. Now it is over, and it seems like they're transitioning to Reed versus Rollins. Yeah, Rollins returned. He helped Strowman win the match, curb stomp to Reed. And he just standing there like the goat he is, just taking it all in. But yeah, Strowman ends up winning. It was just such a fun match. They destroyed the fucking ring. You could tell at times that Strowman wasn't able to go like he usually would, mostly because of probably all of the knee surgeries he's had. There's like one clip I saw where he was like running the ropes and it just didn't seem like he was going that fast. But like, you know, the match was still fun regardless, and also like with how much like damage has been done to like his legs, it's amazing that he can really stand it all, especially with how like tall and big he is. But we also had the debut of NXT on CW. We got some new titles as well with a new logo for NXT. I'm not sure how I feel about the logo. It seems very bland, like this logo right here. I liked it more when the X was more pronounced, or with like NXT 2.0 where it was like very stylized with the letters. This just feels like you just put, you know, like Arial black font, and then just kind of, you know, did this like steel outline with it or whatever, like the texturing. I don't know. I liked it when it was more stylized, or when like the X was bigger too. Like, I like that. I liked when the X was kind of like protruding from the title. I feel like this is kind of very basic. I still like the background and like the gold and the silver. When you saw it on TV, you could only really see the silver bits. Like, those really stood out more. I'm not a huge fan of the white stripe one. I don't know. I feel like they should have just kept the original design, like not the original design, but the previous design, and just have gotten rid of like the rainbow designs in it. like, I don't know. It's just the logo I'm not a big fan of. I wish the gold was more pronounced in some areas, but other than that, they're fine. But in terms of the matches, they were really good. The show started off with Roxanne Perez and Julia. It was a really fun match. I don't think anybody thought that Perez was gonna come out with a victory, but she did. We saw the return of Cora Jade. Hopefully, she doesn't get injured right away like last time. It seems like her and Julia are gonna be feuding, and then Stephanie Vanqueer and Roxanne Perez are gonna start their own feud. Wesley defeated Zachary Wentz in a street fight. It was really fucking good. A lot of like very high risk moves that they took. There was like one sequence that they did where Zachary Wentz was going to go through a table on the outside of the ring, but he overshot it and just hit the fucking ground. He seemed okay, but like it was fucking wild. There was this match, Fatal Influence versus Jada Parker and Lola Vice. This was, it was alright. It was just kind of a random, I don't even remember if they even advertised this, but really it only served so that Fatal Influence would beat them, Kalani Jordan would come out, and then Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill would come out too for Big Pop, and now they're going to have a 6-woman tag team match next week against Fatal Influence. And then in the main event, Trick Williams versus Ethan Page. The match was alright. CM Punk special guest referee. The only thing I remember people talking about it was the very end where CM Punk hit Ethan Page with the GTS after Trick Williams beat him for the NXT Championship. And I heard some people being like, "Oh, he stole the spotlight from him." Like CM Punk stole the spotlight from Trick Williams. And it's just kind of like, no. I think it just, it's certain people who don't like CM Punk because of the fact that he's no longer with the other company, just hating for no reason. But yeah, I thought this was pretty fun. It was a really good show, very good opener. Shawn Michaels and Triple H opened it up with revealing the new titles, doing their thing. Are you ready? Yada yada yada. It was pretty fun. Next week we have some more championship matches and a really big singles match. We have Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. We have Obafemi versus Tony D'Angelo for the North American Championship. I think Tony D'Angelo is probably going to beat him. And then we have Javon Evans versus Randy Orton, which is going to be huge. Can't wait for that one. Also, the 6-woman tag team match that I mentioned, Kalani Jordan, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill versus Fatal Influence. That should be pretty fun, at least. So we'll see. I don't know. Again, just going back to these titles, I think they're pretty bland. But other than that, they're only really bland when it comes to the logo. That's my only problem. I wish the logo was... Honestly, I wish they would just have made it gold. Or keep the N and T silver and then make the X bigger and make it gold. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, I also really hope that they redesign the tag team titles. I've never been a big fan of those designs. And honestly, they have not been changed ever since all the NXT titles were changed back in 2017. I don't know. I just hope they get a redesign too, but we'll see. I think that's it in terms of stuff I wanted to talk about in terms of wrestling. Oh yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about when I have problems with WWE, is that, so at the time of this recording, Bad Blood is tonight. And a match that I almost forgot was even on Bad Blood, that I don't feel like WWE has done very well in terms of really establishing it as a big match, is Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. And that's for many reasons. But to me, the biggest one is that it feels like, and this is not just a problem that I feel like exists for this feud by itself. I think this is also a big problem with just WWE as a whole. A problem that I've been having with it as a product is that it feels like there's not a lot of interconnectivity when it comes to the storylines. Like, it feels like a lot of people are just kind of off in their own little universe with not much going on outside of that. Like, you don't see a lot of crossover between certain storylines. And I think that's a big problem that I have with WWE right now, is because, like, I feel like the Judgment Day storyline would be better if there were other feuds that would kind of cross over a bit. Like, you could have, the New Day breakup feud get involved with the Judgment Day, at least for like a week. I'm not saying like make it up like they're basically the same storyline now, but just have some sort of crossover. Like Damian Priest could go to Xavier Woods and be like, hey, I could see that you're kind of going down this dark path and that you and Kofi are starting to butt heads. It reminds me a lot of what happened between me and Balor, so I just want to warn you, hey, you might want to get away from this because it's going to not, work out great for you. It's going to lead you down a dark path that you're not going to like. And Xavier probably goes off on him, being like, you don't understand. Like, you just, like, this is different. It's not like what happened with you and the Judgment Day. So they have a match. Maybe Xavier starts to lean more heel. Like, you can do that. But instead, it just feels like with the Judgment Day storyline, at least, it's just they do a promo and then they beat the other people up. Like, either Judgment Day does a promo and then Priest and Ripley beat them up, or Rhea and Priest do a promo and then Judgment Day beats them up. Sometimes the person who does the promo does the beat up. I don't know. It's just the same thing over and over. And I just wish they would do something different and like do some crossovers. Like, LWO is kind of in the feud, but they're just kind of like there for the Judgment Day to have matches against. Like, that's it. They're just there to have matches instead of actually contribute to the story in some way. But I don't know. I just wish they would do more more crossovers within their own show instead of having everything be in its own little space. I mean, the same kind of goes with the Bloodline story too. I mean, even then, it has. I think the great thing about the Bloodline story is that it has its own storyline within it. Like, Cody is going against the Bloodline with Roman, but there's also this little side story of Kevin being like, why are you doing this? Like, his, teasing of his heel turn. I think that's why that story works pretty well, and the Judgment Day storyline just doesn't work that great. I think that's also a big problem with like the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud. I think it gets really stale when you don't involve other people, or at least have like some, people pop up within it. Like, maybe Drew has a match because he pisses someone off the wrong way with the way that he talks about CM Punk or what he did to CM Punk. Or maybe CM Punk has a match. Because, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about, like, some of these. I don't know. It feels like a lot of these wrestlers get saved for the pay-per-view matches. But at the same time, it kind of, I don't know. I don't feel like that should be the case. Like, CM Punk, I feel like maybe they're just being careful so he doesn't get injured again. But, like, the same thing with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes doesn't have a lot of matches on TV anymore, which is fine. I'm not saying he should have a match every single week, but like maybe every other week. But it just doesn't feel like he's really there all that much having a match. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really gotta say on that topic. So we'll probably just move over to, kind of away from wrestling, and I'll just talk about Transformers 1 a bit, because I saw it last weekend. Me and a friend went to go see it. It was really fucking good. The animation was great. I've been a Transformers fan for a long ass time, ever since the first Michael Bay movie. My thoughts on those movies have drastically changed, but my thought about this movie was that it was very well done. I think it might be my favorite Transformers movie right now. I mean, that's not a high bar. I think the only one that would really be placed above it would probably be Bumblebee. And Bumblebee's really good. I just think this one handled the bigger Transformers universe a lot better. Optimus was handled very well. I really liked the little changes in Chris Hemsworth's voice throughout the movie when he became more and more like Optimus Prime. I really liked Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. He was great. That, like, it was one of the final scenes where you see like the rise of Megatron and the rise of Optimus Prime, and like those scenes side by side together, it was so fucking well done. I really liked Alita 1. I really liked I think it was Scarlett Johansson who played her. I really liked Kenan Michael Kay as Bumblebee. He was great. I thought for the entirety of the movie that he was going to lose his voice at the end, because they made it a character trait of his that he couldn't stop talking. So I was like, oh, so he's definitely going to lose his voice. And they were just like, nope, he retains his voice throughout the entire thing. Who knows? Maybe they'll do it in the sequel. If they ever do a sequel for the movie, I hope that they do. But it was really well done. I think they made, I don't know, the way that they handled the mythos with like the Quintessence and the Primes and Sentinel, I think was really well done. And with like the Cogs, I just really liked it. All the jokes really landed too. I don't feel like a lot of them were really forced. Like you could tell, it was kind of like, you know, the new Marvel method where they were just like, let's put a lot of jokes in this, but I think they fit very well within the movie. Like Bumblebee calling himself Badassatron, I thought was really fun. I don't know. It's just, I think the movie was just really good. I can't wait for it to come out on streaming so I can watch it again, but it was just, I just really enjoyed it. I think that's what we'll just kind of leave it off here. It'll be a bit of a shorter episode for the podcast, but I'm trying to speed through things because right now we're about half an hour away from Bad Blood. But yeah, thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one. Ooh.